Retired from it.
My cubicle's cooler than your cubicle.
Damn
So this is the balance of the company's motorcycle collection. There's 140, you guys can sneak on in, there's 141 bikes in the museum proper. There's 312 on the shelves up here, room for 327, so there is room for growth. In this collection, you're going to see a little bit of everything. Everything from a brand new 56 off the assembly line to a brand new 2014 Street Glide Special off the line. You'll see police bikes, race bikes, celebrity bikes. For the most part, probably 85% of the collection are bikes that they saved since new. But we do fill in things and holes that we want. If there's a really important story we want to tell in the museum, or a very important part of motorcycle history that we want to make sure lives on, we will save those. So we have everything from, there's Malcolm Forbes' 80 Wide Glide, like I said. We have movie bikes in here. We get involved with Marvel Pictures and a lot of different movie companies. And so you'll see a little bit of everything. Bike up here is a great story, the story that we told in the museum. That's a 1941 WLD. It was owned by a fellow in Alabama. It was his high school graduation present, given to him by his parents. He joined the Army Air Corps a year later, was subsequently shot down in World War II. He was a B-17 tail gunner, so his mother saved the bike and all of his possessions. Everything right down to the box of chocolates that was sent back to her, marked missing in action, that she had sent over to her son. His Purple Heart, his records. She got sick in 1964, handed it down to the only living male relative, which was her nephew. And he offered it to us with all of the items. So we always talk about the guys who came back after World War II and started chopping bikes and racing and forming groups and outlaws and all that. But this gives us the opportunity to tell that story of the person that gave the ultimate sacrifice, so we're not at the BMW museum today, right? Not that that's a bad thing. If anybody came here on a BMW or your two wheels, you're cool with me, but I'm a one brand guy. So it's a wonderful bike, and it's great to tell that whole story of a young man who's, that was his prized possession. We have several bikes like that in the collection. You'll see styling mock-ups. There's a Sturgis Softail 91.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of you guys know they built the Sturgis on the Dyna platform, but when they do it, they'll build them on separate platforms in styling to kind of say, what's the best route to go? What does our customer want? And leadership will make the ultimate determination there. We use these bikes not only in temporary exhibits, but we use them to support the company. Part fitment. We do service parts for bikes going back to, believe it or not, 1909 is our earliest part number in the catalog. And so if they have to make a new exhaust shield for, Softails, they'll say it fits, 96 to 2001s, and they'll bring in a prototype. Might use the SLS. We'll fit that on an actual bike, or the clamp needs to move a little bit, or whatever it may be. They make a second prototype, we fit it, it's good, now they'll make 10,000 of them or whatever. Rather than doing it, now it doesn't stick. So we use our bikes in collection for that all the time. The little Maisto models you see, a lot of the early bike ones, they used our bikes for those models. Hallmark Christmas tree ornaments, their model makers use our bikes. They photograph them, measure them, and they do it. And we support the company because they pay a license fee in order to do those. Bill gets involved in a lot of that, fulfilling a lot of the requests from external, with our literature collection or research questions. And we want to speak to that a little bit, Bill.
Well, just, we fulfill about 1,200 requests per year. We try to help the public to the extent that we can, but the public engages us mostly through the museum. A lot of approved business partners that Bill already mentioned, the licensees, outside law firms to which Harley contracts, trademark enforcement, product liability. Sometimes it's emergency, sometimes we actually get a few days, but rarely.
And do a lot, so maybe even like Motorflow is saying, hey, we're going to make this new ladies handbag and we want to have this cool 1935 ad. Well, that's all done and scanned in an electronic database. You saw some of that stuff, or you'll see some of that stuff in just a minute downstairs. And that's how we support with the things we have. They don't need to go out and have an artist redesign the 1930s bar and shield. we have it already, you know, and scanned, and they go, here you go. And so we do a lot of supporting the company with things like that. It might even be like, say, movie companies. Bill worked on a project with Marvel. I don't know if you guys saw the Captain America movie where he's on the WLA. We actually used that WLA, which is part of our sit-on collection. When you guys get to the last exhibit, it's an area with antique bikes and new bikes, and you can sit on them. There's some 2016s over there that are going to go down there. And we used that bike, and Bill and a local fabricator took 6 2008 Crossbones and made WLAs out of them that they could use in that movie, and the Stuntriders actually rode. And you'll see one of those bikes in the museum, and that was a project we were involved with. Same thing with the last Avengers movie, Livewire and Street were both in there, and we'll end up with a lot of those bikes. So we support, movie company. We have Wild Hogs bikes and Indiana Jones bikes here, and all kinds of stuff like that. So we were involved in all those projects, which is fun. But, any questions you guys have on the collection? Or
So how does this work?
how does this work? Great. So these racks are all grouped together and gang together in groups of 2. These carriages are all motorized, and this is just standard pallet racking on the top of it. Sure. And I can move either a group of 2, or I can move that whole section, just depending on which carriage I move. And they're all slaved together. You can see same thing with those on that side. And I can shift whatever row I need to get into. I got a little forklift over there, and I can go and I can pick the bike right off. And each one's on their own skid, stored in their own location.
Have you ever dropped one?
What's that?
Have you ever dropped one?
There's 2 kinds of people that work in the archives. Those that have dropped the bike and those that are going to drop the bike.
Okay.
I'm in the drop the bike. Bill was actually there when I did mine, and I was lucky. The one I'll take that. I dropped 2. But if that's what you do all day, it's going to happen. Neither one was anything special. One was a mock-up of a VR1000 that was all empty, and it was on a tippy turntable that just kind of went over the top and slowly went outside and nothing happened. Another was a 64 Panhead we bought to add to the collection. It was really rough, and I lowered the hoist down. There was a tire on one side I didn't see, and the bottom kept coming up, and it went over on its side, and we just straightened it back up, and nothing happened there.
How many knuckles you got
In the collection, knuckleheads, we have a 36, we have a 40, we have a 41, a 47, a 46, and a 41, 47 dual engine one.
Are they out on display?
Every knucklehead we have is on display.
Is that the only V4 you have up there?
No, we have
The green
4 V4s. There's a touring one on the floor. The
Okay.
blow molds of the 2-cylinder and 6-cylinder, because they made it 3 configurations. They're on the floor, and the gray one that we have blue.
Is that a runner up there?
That one was a runner, yeah. The green one and the white one were both runners that ran at Talladega, yeah.
What, it sound like a Yamaha? What's-
Don't know, I've never heard it. Tom Platts actually got to drive it, my old coworker, and he said it was a dog.
Okay.
Yeah, it was supposed to be 4 valves and stuff, and it didn't happen, and so it was a complete dog. So.
You 2 guys, are you former mechanics? Are you more historian?
I'm a car salesman.
Okay.
My family owned a dealership in Vernon, Wisconsin, but I did bikes my whole. That was my fun job, and Bill is archivist by trade, so that's what he does. Always has. He went to the University of Wisconsin, Milwaukee. He's worked for Surface World, Craft Archives. Everybody that's here, really except me, probably has a lot more. I'm a conservator since then by trade. Like most of our collection, like the core bikes, we don't restore. We just take them apart, clean them, put them back together. So when you guys go in the museum and you see those bikes, that's the original seat, original, nickel plating and all that on a lot of those bikes. Like that 1911 single, that's the original drive bike. Some of the seats get replaced, grip here and there when they get worn out, but for the most part, we try and keep the original as long as possible. What are we doing? We're about 3:13, 3:14. A couple more minutes. Anybody has another?
I got a question.
Yeah.
The wide line here, okay, there's one downstairs with silver cylinders, and this has got black. I've seen them both ways, which is right, what's the cutoff, any idea?
Not when it happened, no. And a big thing about that, what I always try and tell people, and I've taken apart bikes that haven't been apart in 90 years, it's manufacturing. It's not a science. They ran out of silver paint, we're making them black today. Because we're not gonna send the line home and send everybody home. That's the way it happens, and it still happens to this day. You know, this bike might have had a top end on it. This was Malcolm Forbes' bike, so it's got miles, it's been on the road. Our other bike is a collection bike. If you look at our 71 Super Glider, they go, oh, it's got the wrong tank separator. It's got a 72, it's the fluorescent one. If you look, that bike's a late June bike, and it was right in the crossover. They were done, started using this. And so I've taken part stuff that's got nickel on one side and parkerized on the other.
So I've seen them both ways.
Sure.
Reviewing them, and I'm like,
Yeah.
For years, the product literature says, you know, specifications subject to change, and that's.
You guys without notice.
Like a perfect 1980, there's kind of no such thing.
Yeah.
It's like, they all have to be.
So I have a question about like the literature and paperwork stuff.
Yep. You're gonna see that just in a minute.
Okay.
That's downstairs, yep. Jim's gonna take you through that collection. Most of that is
My
there.
grandfather in the military.
Oh, okay.
His picture's in there.
Oh, cool.
And I'd like to maybe see if I could trade a picture, because I have a different one.
That's pretty tough.
I
Yeah.
mean, copies.
Yeah, yeah. It's really tough to do a lot. You just don't have the band, you know, to handle everything that comes in
Sure.
all the time. There is a website we got, hdimages.com, and you can go on there and our 500 most important photographs around there, and that picture could very well be on it. You can get one life-size wall in it, so check that out.
The other question is, you always hear about